and to every part of your day, no matter what business you're in, real estate, anything along those, blah, blah, any type of business, the morning routine is the key. So we always talk about the morning routine in real estate, right? Your pre-prospecting routine, things like that, but we don't really ever talk too much about it, just a general morning routine. So I was reading the other day, which sometimes reading gets me in trouble, but this time it actually worked out okay, right? So I was reading the other day about the morning routine of millionaires, billionaires, so and so forth. Because, Neil's talked about how the Forbes just released their list of, the billionaires, and there's some crazy number, 2,000 billionaires in the world. And as he mentioned, he's not one of them, so he has to keep going to work. So, but I wanted to know, well, what's their morning like? Do they all get a bunch of sleep and sleep 8, 9, 10 hours a day and don't get up until 9? Or do they all get up at 4? Do they all do completely different things and there's no structure? Is there some common structure? What do they do? So I did all this research, read a bunch of different things, read some interviews from people, variety of different people, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the Oprah Winfrey's, to a variety of people, Steve Branson, even old Steve Jobs interviews, Jim Dorsey, the guy who started Twitter, all these other different people that are millionaire, billionaire type people. And what I came up with was a list of common things that all these people do in their morning routine. Now, some of them do this plus that, or whatever the case may be, but these are like the common ones that pretty much all of them do in their morning to some capacity. And if we can implement some of these or all of these, that gets us one step closer to being like those millionaire billionaires.
Can you tape this, please?
It's being recorded.
Thank you.
Now, what happens after it's recorded, I have no idea. Luckily, we have somebody like Jesse who will figure this out. Because I just hit record and it says it's recording to the cloud, and I don't know what that means. Okay, but that's okay. So anyways, so I want to really get in there and be more like these millionaire billionaires. How can we be about that? So let's jump into this and talk a little bit about what I learned of the morning routine of these people. So the first thing that came up was sleep. That's always the big thing, right? What time do these people wake up? How much sleep do they get? Because some of us, for our mindset is, well, I need 8 or 9 hours of sleep. I have to go to bed at this time. I have to get up at this time. Okay, well, let's take a look at the commonality of the sleep patterns of these billionaires, right? These 2,000 plus billionaires in the world. What are some of their sleep patterns? And what you'll find is there's no real set pattern when it comes to sleep, okay? So give you an example. All these billionaires they interviewed, and the first question that they said was, how much sleep do you get per night? Well, the most common answer was 5 to 6 hours. 32% sleep 5 to 6 hours. But 27% sleep 6 to 7 hours, and 27% sleep 7 to 8 hours. Only 14% sleep 4 to 5 hours. So I bring that up because for some of you, you think, oh gosh, I mean, they probably only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. Well, that's only 14% only get 4 to 5 hours. Most of them are in the somewhere 5 to 8 hours of sleep a night. But the point is, if you sleep 8 hours a night, that's perfectly fine. If you sleep 5 hours a night, that's perfectly fine too. And they go into, for example, well, what time do you go to bed? And for the most part, most people go to bed usually around 11 p.m. So 32% of the people that are in that billionaire list go to sleep somewhere around 11 p.m. And then you have 10:30s, 9%, 10 p.m. is 18%, only 5% go to bed before 10 a.m. I'm sorry, 10 p.m. So somewhere usually in that 10 to 11 p.m. time slot is where most of them are going to bed. And then when do they wake up in the morning? Almost all of them, 89% of them are up before 7 a.m. Okay, which is not that extravagant, right? But you have, 11% are up by 4 a.m., 28% are up by 5 a.m., and then another 11% are at 5:30. So if you add this up, by 5:30 in the morning, you have 17 and 11 is 28. You have 56% of the people that are on this billionaire list. They asked the wake up time. 56% are up by 5:30 in the morning. Okay. Now, for some of you, that's pretty common. You're up at 5:30 or so earlier. For some of you, you didn't know that 5:30 a.m. existed. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay because there's still a high percentage of people that get up after that. You just have to go about your day a different way. So the point is with the sleep is that's always one of the main questions we get is what time do they go to bed? How much sleep do they get? So I wanted to start with that of there's no real specific time. It's kind of all over the place. You have to figure out a routine that's good for you. But generally, it's going to bed between 10 and 11 and waking up by 5:30 a.m. That's kind of the general thing. But just to kind of give you an example of some of the people that you might know, like Bill Gates sleeps 7 hours. He goes to bed at midnight, wakes up at 7 a.m. Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines, Virgin Group, sleeps about 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours a day. Okay. Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple now, sleeps 6 hours a day. Okay, Jack Dorsey from Twitter, 7 hours. Indra Nooyi, she's the chairman of Pepsi's, 5 hours. Ariana Huffington is 7 hours. So it's a wide variety of different things. Barack Obama, 6 hours. Benjamin Franklin, going back, was 7 hours. Winston Churchill, 5 hours, so on and so forth. So the point is with the sleep, okay, starting out with the sleep is you need to be able to get at least some type of sleep. Okay, you should be getting somewhere between 5 to 8 hours a day. If you're not getting that, then you have a problem. But it's also, you'll notice that almost none of these people go to bed after midnight. So if you're not going to bed until 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m., first of all, I don't know how the hell you're doing that. When we were in our 20s, we get it. Okay, but how some of you, but I say this because some of you will say this to me because you say, well, Robert, how do you get up so early? I'm like, well, what time do you go to bed? Well, I usually don't get to bed until 1 o'clock. What the hell are you doing? I mean, my goodness, some of you are nuts. All right, but what are you going to do? Okay, so that's the basics of sleep. So find a sleep pattern that works for you, that you can do all the time. Now, the question that I get, I've gotten this for years, okay, because of how early I get up every day, is how do I get up earlier? Now, some of you that have been around me for a while know the answer to that question, and it annoys you to no end, okay? It's because you're always looking for that secret. How do you get up earlier? How do I get up earlier? Okay, I want you to write this down. Here's the big solution to waking up earlier, okay? It's a fail-proof system if you just follow it, okay? So here it is. The fail-proof system to waking up earlier is set your alarm to an earlier time, and when the alarm goes off, get up. That's it. That's the end of the note. That's it. How do I get up earlier? How do I get up at 5 a.m.? Set the alarm at 5. When the alarm goes off, get up. That's it. That's all you got. That's the end of the story. But if you want a little bit more, see, here's the thing. Well, some people, I've always heard some people like, well, I set the alarm across the room, so I have to get out of bed. Folks, if you got to come up with gimmicks to get yourself out of bed, we have other problems. So here's another little thing you can do. If you don't like that, here's something you can do. Write your goals, your 1-year goal, your 5-year goal, your 10-year, lifetime goals, and put them on your nightstand. And as soon as your alarm goes off, pick that up and look at them. And that should get you out of bed when your alarm goes off. If it doesn't, you need new goals. For example, your alarm goes off and you look at your goals and you say, first class trip ticket for the whole family, 1 month traveling all around Italy. And you go, there's a great Italian restaurant right down the street. I'm sure they're fine. Okay. And you go back to bed, you need a new goal. Okay. You need a new goal. Your goals should get you out of bed. So if you really don't like my first idea of just set the alarm, and when the alarm goes off, get up, put your goals next to your bed, read those when you get up. That should get you out of bed. Okay. So now beyond the sleep. So what I wrote down here are a number of commonalities of what these billionaires are doing in their morning routine. Now, there's no order of importance here or order in which they do things. This is just how they were written down. So the first thing I wrote down, we kind of talked about, was they wake up before everybody else. Okay. 56% are up by 5:30 in the morning. That's not the common number in society of being up by 5:30 in the morning. 56% are. Okay. You have to get up early. There are only so many hours in a day. And if you want to get a lot done, then you're going to have to put in the hours. Now, however, they also put down here that in terms of productivity, the first hour of your day should be distraction free. You don't necessarily have to start working right away. In fact, you probably shouldn't. But this hour can be useful for meditating, planning out your day, getting ready, whatever the day will throw at you. So your first hour should be very distraction free. Okay, getting up and just getting your day started. Okay, so that's number one is wake up before everyone else. So we kind of already talked about that. The second thing that's a commonality is some sort of working out or getting your blood pumping. Okay. So it says here, waking up early doesn't do much good if you're half asleep. The quickest way to inject some energy in your morning is to do some sort of workout. Now, you don't have to run a half marathon. Okay. And really, you shouldn't do anything that's going to exhaust yourself that you can't do anything the rest of your day. Who's fallen guilty to that before? You get up and you do this strenuous 2-hour workout. And then by the time you work out, you're like, oh, you feel energized? No, I want to go back to bed, actually. But going for a little bit of a jog, a little bit of a walk, if you want to do some sort of lifting, doing, a little bit of push-ups, walking around, doing some stretching, something to get yourself going, get your blood pumping. Okay. Because you also have to remember that staying healthy is a key to being productive as well. Okay. And the morning will get you going. So if you wanted to do something light in the morning and then, do a stronger workout later in the day, that's perfectly fine, but something to get yourself going. Okay. Now, for give you an example of one, Oprah sets aside 1 hour every morning to exercise. She'll go for a run or do some resistance flexibility training. Ariana Huffington begins her day with meditation and yoga. Okay. So it doesn't have to be more than an hour, probably shouldn't be more than an hour. Okay. It could be just 10 minutes. If for any of you that use Peloton, for example, Peloton has the app, and I'm sure there's other things to do this too. Peloton has that app where you can do other classes, not just the bike. And they have a bunch of 10-minute yoga classes, 10-minute core classes. And they always talk about, it's just 10 minutes of your day. Come on, take 10 minutes, take something to get yourself going. Okay. Get the grogginess out, get the cobwebs out, some sort of meditation, something along those lines. Okay. The next thing I wrote down here is eating a nutritious, for the most part, most of them said this part, protein-filled breakfast. Okay, nutritious protein-filled breakfast. So, remember that food is another key part of the morning, but typically you don't want to eat just anything. Okay, so the reason that some of them were saying protein is because that helps fuel your mind and your body, such as eggs, oatmeal, smoked fish, things along those lines. Typically, if you can, stay away from the overly sugar products like waffles, pancakes, sugary cereals, things like that. Now, is that going to happen all the time? No, because look, if I get an ad for Dunkin' Donuts that they have free donut Wednesday, I'm going to go get the coffee anyways. You're going to give me a free donut to go with it. So sometimes you're going to do that, but you have to watch, maintain moderation. But this was, again, these are the common traits of these billionaires, millionaires, of what they do in their morning routine. And a lot of it has to do with their breakfast. They're really conscious of those types of things as well. Okay. Because the other part of that of being on a sugar high is you've heard the crash, right? They talk of like the 2 o'clock crash, the 1 o'clock crash. You're all pumped up, all ready to go, and then you just crash. So you have to kind of more fuel your mind, fuel your brain with more nutrition as far as the breakfast goes. All right, the next thing I wrote down here is read headlines so you are informed. Now, I wrote this down. However, this point is a very anti-Mike Ferry point. So, take this as you will. Because Mike always says, your morning routine, don't watch the news, don't do anything along those lines. But what a lot of these people say is read the headlines so you're at least informed of what's going on. Okay. Take some time during or after the morning to catch up on the latest news. Now, the example that one person gave was, can you imagine speaking with someone in a prominent position who didn't know a major piece of the news that's been making the headlines? Okay. So that's kind of the mindset of it. Now, I will say this, though. You don't want to do a deep dive where you're on the news or social media or watching the news or something like that for too long, because then it becomes overwhelming and more of a depression state, because it's just so toxic. But that's why it says read the headlines so you're informed. Well, what's going on with the coronavirus, for example? Well, LA's in the red county. I'm not red county, red tier. Orange County's in the red tier. San Diego just moved up to the orange tier. Okay. The goal is for the state of California is by June 15th, be completely reopened. Those are the headlines. Now, I'm not doing a deep dive into it because then it's going to get into, the political stuff and I hate this and I hate that and all that. But I know the headlines. Okay. Things that you can look into, know what's going on in the world, or at least in your environment, but read the headlines so you're at least informed of what's going on. But I got to tell you, you have to make sure you don't go down that rabbit hole, just the headlines, because it will become way too toxic and way too depressing if you go any deeper than that. Okay. And you have to also keep in mind too, the headlines that you're reading are things that are more relevant to you and your business and your day-to-day activities. So here, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but, reading about some crisis that's going on in Texas, for the most part, probably doesn't affect you and is only going to have a negative portion of your day. Because unless you're actively working in Texas or have family in Texas or things like that, it doesn't matter what's going on. Focus on what the headlines are for your stuff that you need to talk about. That if I'm talking to a client, what could they possibly bring up? All right, the next thing I wrote down here is write down your goals and work on them. So every morning, what these people do is write down their goals for the day at least, but even rewriting the yearly goals, the monthly goals. If you don't keep your goals in front of you all the time, you will not accomplish them. That is just plain reality. Because you'll forget about them. And you won't have that motivation, that drive. There is no way you can prospect 3 hours a day, make 30 contacts a day for 220 days a year without going absolutely crazy if you don't have your goals in front of you. There's no way. I got rejected 30 times today, and you have a smile on your face. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow. There's no way you could do that if you don't have your goals in front of you. If you're not writing them out every day, if you're not looking at them every day, you'll go nuts. Either that or you are a very sick and twisted person that enjoys just being constantly beat up and rejected all day long. But if you have the goal, if you have the thing that ties you to doing the prospecting, that does the practice, that does the previewing, then you'll keep doing it and you'll do it at a high level and you'll be successful. So writing out your goals and working on them every day. Goal setting is a crucial part of starting your day. This will be what guides your actions over the next 16 or so hours. Okay, so hammer them out in the morning. And then after you've written them down, don't just file them away and forget about it. Keep them in front of you. Making sure you're accomplishing what you need to accomplish. Checking them off. If it's a daily thing, this is what I have to do. Are you going to hit all of them every day? No. So don't beat yourself up about it, but at least have the plan, have the intentions of getting it done. There's no way you're going to get everything done in a day. There's only a certain amount of hours a day and you're only one person. But if you don't write them all out, then you're not going to accomplish any of them for the most part. Okay. This is going to give you directions. This is what successful people do. Now, on top of that, when you're writing down your goals, you can even ask yourself, not even just writing down your goals, but asking yourself some sort of question about yourself. So Steve Jobs, for example, when he was writing down his goals every day and his plan for the day, he would also start out the day to ask himself, if today was the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do? Would I be happy with the work that I'm going to put in today? Would I be happy with the effort that I put in today? If today was the last day of my life and they said, are you happy with the effort you put in today? Would you be happy? So he would ask himself that every single day. Okay. You know, Tony Robbins, when he goes through his morning goals and things like that, he does what he calls priming, which is the act of taking time to adjust your thoughts and your emotions so you can live your life in peak state. Okay, so he does that through some sort of meditation, but that's how he goes through his goals. He's like meditating and doing his goal setting at the same time. He calls it priming. Something every single morning to write down your goals. Go through your goals every single day. Now, number 6, I put down here that kind of goes in the same thing. Think in long term, not just short term. So when you're setting your goals or planning your day, don't just think about what's going on in the short term. Because this is a key thought that many of these billionaires were saying. Most of life's greatest rewards can take years, decades even, before they come to fruition. And in real estate, that is the truth. I want to be a millionaire real estate agent. Okay, great. It's going to take you some time to get there. Well, how much time? Like a week? Maybe longer. But a week will start. A week will start with. Sometimes it takes years, decades even, before they come to fruition. These billionaires that they're asking these questions to, they're not people that just became a billionaire overnight. They had to go through the process. They had to go through the struggles. They had to go through the routine. It's going to take time, but you have to think in the long-term growth. Okay. So, now one of them quoted here says, nowadays, it seems like every other week there's a big tech company striking gold or a young CEO becoming a millionaire. Don't be fooled by the narrative the media creates. This person didn't just wake up one morning and decided they wanted to become a millionaire and get everything they have overnight. Chances are that person worked tirelessly day and night for years on end before seeing their financial rewards. So the question you have to ask yourself, well, what are your long-term goals? Make sure you're keeping them in mind. Okay? Keeping them in mind. So what are the long-term goals? And if you don't have them, this is also a great reminder to do them, because you have to think about the long-term, not just the short-term. Because the short-term just fades away. Okay? So you can do that. Now, one of the things you can do, going back to goal setting, something that Elon Musk does, is he schedules his activities in 5-minute blocks. So by doing that, he has very precise things he's doing every day, because what he finds is that if he doesn't put it in 5-minute blocks, let's say he puts it in an hour block, that might be too much time, and then the hour is not filled with positive stuff. He does an hour for something, puts a block for an hour, and he gets it done in 30 minutes. He finds that next 30 minutes isn't as productive. It's just left over. So if he does everything in 5-minute blocks, if he gets something done, then he's on to the next project, and there's no time wasted. So I would highly recommend some of you to do what they call the time motion study. When you're planning out your day, is you're not going to do 5 minutes, okay? But do every hour, or maybe even every 15 minutes, write down, what did you accomplish in the last hour? What did you accomplish if you want to do advanced, what did you accomplish in the last 15 minutes? To see if you're wasting any of that time, and could you have accomplished more of your goals if you were more productive in that time period? So I would highly recommend doing some things along those lines first. All right. The 7th thing they wrote down here is more of a mindset. Okay. Their morning routine is a mindset, is remembering that every day is a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity. If you don't wake up with that mindset, then you're going to waste the day. This brings me back to the Les Miles quote. There's 1,440 minutes in every day, which means there's 1,440 opportunities. How many are you going to give away? So there's multiple of them talked about this as every day being a new opportunity. Now, today might not be your best day, and that's fine. That's just how life works. But remember that every day will bring a new set of challenges and opportunities. It's imperative that you keep an open mind and are receptive to new ideas. The world is always changing, and you have to be willing to think about things from multiple points of view. So are you ready for what today brings? What about tomorrow, the day after? So make sure you go into each day with a positive attitude. You know, I always talked about this in real estate. This right here really talks about kind of what I always think is one of the best parts about real estate is that you wake up every day in real estate and you have no idea what's going to happen. Now, for some of you, that freaks you out because you don't like it's not stable. For others of you, this is fantastic. Because you could wake up today and go, I don't know. I could do a deal for, the local mechanic down the street. I could do a deal with someone who's like some billionaire from a foreign country that wants to buy homes in Los Angeles. Totally reasonable. You can work with the same people. You have no idea. I might put a deal into escrow. I might have a deal fall out. I might do some prospecting today and find someone who just won the lottery and wants to buy 3 properties. Or I might do prospecting today and get told to F off 35 times. Okay, I have no idea, but that's part of the excitement of the day is that every day brings new opportunities, new challenges. You have to be able to take that on. And if you go in with a positive attitude, you're going to have more opportunities than you are challenges. And this goes back to something that Mike Ferry talks about all the time, that every day starts at 0. Whatever happened yesterday, good or bad, today's a brand new day. So the next one I wrote down, just a couple more things here. I wrote down 11 things. So number 8, okay, commonality is spend some time with loved ones. Now, that could be something as simple as just, sharing a cup of coffee, having a quick conversation, whatever the case may be. But spend at least a few minutes with some people that you care about. Richard Branson, makes family time a morning commitment. He's one of those really big things along those lines. And then there's a 75-year study by Harvard that found that life's success depends more on warm relationships than anything else, including intelligence. So make sure that you're spending a little bit of time, even if it's just a few minutes, with the people you care about. Now, if they don't live with you, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a text, maybe it's something along those lines, but spend some time with that. All right, number 9 that I wrote down here. This kind of goes a little bit about having a positive attitude that we talked about, but spread some positivity and joy. Okay, spreading positivity and joy to start your day. Don't just wait for it. Don't just expect it. Be part of the solution, not the problem, as they say, right? Spread positivity and joy. This could be as simple as saying good morning. Sending good vibes to others will not only create a positive start to your day, it will boost your performance. There was a study done by Wharton and Fisher College that found people's mood in the morning affects productivity throughout the day. Now, a lot of you know who Gary Vee is, entrepreneur, investor. His morning routine includes making a call to his family in the car on the way to work. I catch up with them. I really value those small moments. And I always tell them, good morning, how you doing, all these other different things. And he does that every single day. So say a good morning, send a quick text message, make a quick phone call, post something online, whatever the case may be. Start out the day being one of the ones that spreads the positivity and joy. That will make more positivity and joy for you. That puts you in a better mindset, which makes you more productive. Okay. So there you go. All right. 2 more here. Number 10. The most important projects are completed in the morning. Whatever your most important projects are, complete them in the morning. Okay. Everyone has an important project that you have to complete every day. And the billionaires of the world have the same such projects. So they dedicate the hours of the morning to completing them. That's because the early morning hours are the ones when you can most likely work without interruption. Because the truth is, as the day goes on, more options and interruptions come to play, right? More people start to wake up, more things start to happen, more people start to call you. So you can do more things without interruption in the morning. So do your most important projects in the morning. It's also when you're typically the most motivated and energized to do your projects is in the morning. As the day goes on, you get less and less motivated, which means you're either A, not going to do the most important project, or B, you're going to do your most important project in a half-assed effort. That's no good either. That's no good either. Okay, so make sure you get all your important stuff done in the morning. And then the last thing I wrote down here is don't forget to work on something personal. Spend a couple minutes working on something personal. Personal projects are ones that, light up your heart, your desire, boost your levels of enthusiasm. They can be in any form. They could be writing, painting, reading a book, playing a game, something that's just personal to you. That's not necessarily work related. That's just a personal thing that you like to do. Could be a passion project or just something you like to do on your own, but spend at least a little bit of time doing something personal. It can't be all work. I know we forget that sometimes. We get up, we get ready, we go to work, we get up, we get ready, we go to work. There's got to be a little bit of personal time in there as well in the morning to get your day started. Put yourself in a better mood. Remember, it's about you too. It's about you too. So look, those are 11 different things that are commonalities of the morning routine of these billionaires that are on these Forbes lists on how they start their day, what they do every single day. And I figure if we can do as many of these 11 as we possibly can, again, that puts us closer to those that are worth $1 billion. And I think that puts us in a good position. So I think that's a plus way to go. So hopefully there was something there. So good job. All right. Well, look, that's all I got. That's what I wanted to focus on today, making sure we're hitting that morning routine. There's a bunch of other different things we could talk about, but I figured this might be a little bit different than just our normal real estate morning routine. But based on the amount of people that dropped off, maybe it wasn't the best topic to go over. What are you going to do? All right, everybody, that's all I got for the day. It's Ultimate Prospecting Day, so we're prospecting still in the afternoon. We have nobody at 1 o'clock, so if anyone wants to do open mic at 1, the floor is yours. We got Shasha at 1:30. We got Jamila at 2. We got Tess at 2:30. There's nobody at 3, and we have Iris at 3:30 and Jamila again at 4, so good stuff. All right, everybody, keep up the great work. If you need anything, we're here. Let's keep rocking and rolling.
Thank you, Robert. That's very motivating. I will do better.
All right.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks for being here.